Guys, this is a quick video of all the new Galaxy products and a comparison between the new and the old. We'll start with the Galaxy Fold 5 versus the 6. 6 is noticeably lighter and has a bigger outer display or cover display. So they made it wider this year, trying to line up the right edge. Left edge is poking out a bit, but the screen's bigger, so it's totally worth it. It's more like a Sony Xperia phone now. The hinge is recessed more into the phone, and they really trimmed down the metal border here. It's about equal to the right side. On the older Galaxy Fold 5, you see this metal edge more, even though it's skinny on this side. Plus the hinge sticks out a lot more. So this, even though a little bit wider, is more comfortable and more usable on the face. A lot lighter, and here's the two color differences right here. New one has this new carbon fiber, can't really see fingerprints, and the old one is a matte finish. New one's also a lot more squared off, so it actually feels like you have more of a more display to phone ratio. Now YouTube videos on the new one compared to the old one. So you actually could see more video. I'm trying to line up the top edges here. You could see a little bit more video on the newer 6 compared to the older 5. But when you put it in horizontal mode, landscape mode, the newer one, you could see a lot more video. Let's get a better comparison like this. I'm trying to line up the left edge, and look how much more the 6 has on the right edge. So it's definitely wider, less black bars. When we open up the phone, portrait mode, on the 6 compared to the 5, you also have more video compared to the phone on the 6 because of the new aspect ratio that they made on this. This is more 4:3, and this is more squared off, almost 1:1. But when you put the phone into landscape mode, you'll actually lose just a tiny bit on the newer phone. If I line up the top edge, you could see the older 5, which is to the right now. You could see a little bit more video on the bottom. So 4:3 content definitely looks better on the older phone compared to the newer. But most stuff today is 16:9, so it's not going to affect many of you. Now when we go to Max, we can close out YouTube now. And when we go to Max, the Justice League was filmed in 4:3. So now you could see that the older phone should actually take up more screen than the newer phone because the older phone is 4:3. So let's open Max up again. Scroll down to Justice League. And then we'll play them on both phones real quick. Pause this one here. Okay, here we go. So in landscape mode, the 5 is more 4:3, so a 4:3 movie should take up more of the screen, and now you can see it here. The blacker bars are thicker on the 6. Just so you know, for older TV shows and retro gaming, that's just how it is. Now the displays on the inner and outer are actually brighter on the 6 compared to the 5. You're not really going to see that on film, but you could just take my word for it. The cover display is definitely brighter in comparison to the inners, but the displays are definitely brighter on the 6 compared to the 5. And that's pretty much the difference, the differences between these two phones, other than performance and stuff like that. But they really made the 6 a lot more wider than the 5. The reason to upgrade alone, it's a lot more lighter, the newer phone, compared to the older. A lot more lighter. More comfortable to hold, and a bigger outer display. It's a lot more usable now. Didn't really like it on any other previous generation of the Fold. This one's a lot more glossy, and you could feel that. Rounded off. Almost asymmetrical. This is more symmetrical. You could barely notice the hinge, and it's a lot more squared off and matte finish. So a little bit more slippery. But we have cases here. Here's the official Samsung case with S Pen. They made it a lot more slim than the one that they released for the 5. We'll slap that on. It goes on pretty easily. Just like that. Now they put this sticky adhesive on the strip that goes along this, which is nice. When I show you the Spigen case later, the front doesn't have that, and it likes to wiggle a lot. This one doesn't. This one has the adhesive everywhere, and it'll stick nicely right here. All you got to do is stick it down a little bit, and you're not moving. And there's the S Pen. Very slim case, lighter weight than the previous generations. You won't get the hinge protection here. That's why the Spigen case is so good. So if you're going to work with this, you could actually leave the front on, even though this one's gray in this case. And just pop on the Spigen back. Just like this. Fold up that hinge a little bit. And that's it. Now you get that hinge protection. They really made it slim. Just like the phone itself, the hinge is slim. And it opens up. It actually opens up better than the Spigen cover case. Because the Spigen one doesn't give you that stickiness here, like I was saying. So this actually makes the case fly off. So if you could afford it, the Spigen plus the Samsung case is the way to go. Even though it's a little bit different in color. But you got that protection. Now that I'm looking at it, the crease here in the middle of the screen, heavily diminished compared to last year's model. I mean, this can be due to wear of the older one, but you could definitely tell there's a dip in there, and it's greater than this year's model, the dip. That's pretty much it with the phones. But now we have the watches here. This is the brand new Galaxy Watch Ultra. Heavier than the last generations. No rotating bezel. But the screen is the same size as last year's 6 Classic. But it is nice having that rotating bezel. This will have a virtual bezel. And it's not bad. Here it is in black. You will get that rotating bezel. It's like a virtual one. The biggest difference, other than the bezel, is the battery life. Battery life on the 6 Classic really isn't good at all. This is a lot better battery, and the processor is a lot better than last year's model. Here's the 5 Pro, which I believe came out probably less than a year ago than the 6 did, the 6 Classic. The display is a lot smaller, but the battery is actually better than the Ultra, with my use at least. I feel like this gets 3 or more days. This gets you maybe about 2 days, but it is a lot faster than the 5 Pro. Also, a lot of bands work with this, 20mm bands. You can't use these bands on the Ultra. You have to use Samsung bands. There is aftermarket ones, but it's just proprietary at that point. Let me show you some cases. This is just some random Chinese case. You could get them anywhere. $5 for 10. $10 for 10. And it comes with screen protectors, but they work really nicely. Put in the button side first. Slap it in. You got some good protection. And it still shows off all that white on the white watch. And it'll still show off the black and the silver on this watch. Glass screen protector is really nice. No fingerprints are really shown. Very, very, very minimal. It actually makes it kind of flush with everything here. Really wish this was a rotating bezel. Let's go to Spigen's case. Reminds you of a G-Shock. This one actually doesn't connect to the proprietary bands. This one actually just kind of seals the whole watch in as a whole. Let's pop that in. A little bit tougher getting this one in, but not terrible. Just like that. Also with the Ultra, you get these exclusive cases. This one has a compass built in. Really nice feature. But the watch is super fast compared to all the rest. It really is. I would put this one in second place just because of the rotating bezel. But the battery is not that good on this. You can't really sleep with this and track your sleep apnea or whatever you're really looking into. This one you could sleep with. Maybe charge it for 10 minutes on the second night. Not terrible. Lastly, we got all the headphones here. Almost every generation. First ones are a classic. Very small, very light. Very easy to grab and just throw in. Not bad. But the second version, which was the Galaxy Buds Pro, were very uncomfortable in the ear. Everybody I know did not like those ones, and that's why I sold them, and that's why they're not here. This is the third version, which is the Galaxy Buds 2. Very light, just like the originals, but they sound better, probably on par with the Buds Pro. Glossy finish. These are really good headphones. Next year after that, we got the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. The sound was greatly enhanced on these. Very good quality. Maybe a little bit heavier than the second, but the 2 Pros are very good, and I've been using this all the way up until today. Until these came out. The Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. Yeah, they look like AirPods, but they're not. Make sure you get the silver trim. They also have LED lights in them. So now you're really not rolling with Apple. These sound, this is like a generational leap between like the first one all the way to like maybe the second Pro. These sound incredible, and they hold in your ear the best. I could wiggle my head all day. These will fall out. These will fall out. They'll all fall out, but these don't really fall out. I mean, I could get them to fall out if I really wanted to, but I haven't been able to. These sound really good. The noise cancellation, noise isolation, whatever you want to call it, is the best it's been. These have live translation. If somebody's speaking to you in Spanish, you'll get it right to your ear in English right away. But yeah, that's a quick video of all the devices. We'll go more in depth later. Probably the least big upgrade is probably, I would want to say, the phones. But just for the cover display alone, I could finally use it. I don't feel like I always have to open up the phone anymore. I could finally use it just like this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you later.